Diana, as Johnny Manziel travels down the long road of return to the NFL, he's made it clear that he is willing to pit stop north of the border in the Canadian Football League if that's something that would happen if NFL teams are still skeptical after spring league ends. Now, that all creates a very captivating question that has many of us wondering, can Johnny Football resurrect his football career?
You've got a guy now who's starting the season opener as a freshman. How do you help him prepare for all that lies ahead?
All that lies ahead. All that lies ahead. 4 simple words, one innocent wonder about a kid from Kerrville, Texas, preparing to set out on a strange and treacherous path.
It's a work in progress, and it always will be from here on until I graduate in college and maybe go on to the next level. So I always try to get better.
He's one of those kids that when he got to college, I don't think he expected to sit very long. He thinks he's the best player on the field every time he steps out there, and that's what you want in that position.
Touchdown, Texas A&M!
To digest what Manziel is now chasing, we must remember where he started. And that tale, perhaps to most of us, began at Texas A&M.
They just did it! Lightning in a bottle in Tuscaloosa!
Johnny Football. Do you love it? Is it corny?
I think it's funny. I find it humorous.
But it does seem to fit.
It does fit. Johnny Manziel. Been playing football my whole life. Boom. There it is. There's the match.
What was interesting in retrospect is that he and I had a conversation when we got done.
They don't know you. They just know you play football.
And I just said, look, you don't know me from Adam, but I've been in the media for a while. Your life is about to become insane, like a rocket ship. And so you got to think about where you go. You got to think about if you're out in a bar, don't be holding a drink. You just have to think about all these things. And he yepped me to death.
The 2012 winner of the Heisman Memorial Trophy is Johnny Manziel.
Winning the Heisman cemented his icon status. He was no longer Johnny Manziel. He was Johnny Football, a football legend, no last name needed.
What kind of things could I do to use this as not only a platform for me to meet cool people and do cool things. This right here has put me in such a big position to change people's lives forever.
The life it would change, at least to this point, was his own.
It's just been pure chaos. After the Heisman, I said it would never be the same.
If I was a kid and I could sit courtside, I would. And I can go listen to Drake's Take Care be recorded and get it early, I would. And I often felt like if Johnny Manziel's artist and best friend was John Mayer, it would have been viewed a little differently.
There would be no easy listening for the kid from Kerrville. By 2014, pro football was waiting, and the incidents were piling up.
I can remember going back pre-draft and hearing other teams saying, you are aware of these personal issues, right? You are aware of these habits, right? You are aware that he's doing some things that he shouldn't be doing, right?
Just overslept. I made a mistake and didn't wake up in time when I should have.
You would have screwed up the same as him. If it was you, and you were 19 years old in College Station, Texas, and the football gods touched you and made you him, there's one Tim Tebow. There are a million Johnny Manziel. It's real easy for people to be judgmental or otherwise when it comes to him and say, oh, I wouldn't have done that. I bet you would have.
Drafted 22nd overall by the Browns, the enormity of the NFL did nothing to humble him. If anything, from his infamous swan ride shortly after the draft to flashing the bird toward the Redskins sideline in a preseason game, the NFL stage seemed to embolden him.
I had a sense of entitlement about what I had accomplished at the age that I had accomplished it, and I got so ingrained in only caring about what Johnny wanted. Even when I thought I was doing what I wanted, I was miserable.
His lifestyle caught up with him as he struggled to succeed on the field. There, Manziel would learn perhaps the first of many cold lessons about the NFL. It isn't easy, and it isn't patient. Off the field, he would appear in a Dallas courtroom charged, then dismissed with domestic abuse.
At the end of the day, you're left staring at the ceiling by yourself and you're back in that depression and back in that dark hole of sitting in a room by yourself, being super depressed, thinking about all the mistakes you made in your life, what did that get me? Where did that get me except out of the NFL?
All that lies ahead. Once an innocent wonder, now a skeptical consideration. The halfway point between Kerrville, Texas and College Station is Austin, where a spring football league represents another chance. At only 25 years old, the question lingers. Can Johnny Manziel shed half of Johnny football? All the on-field electricity, no baggage off of it.
I think there's a curiosity about Johnny Manziel. There's certainly a need at the position. Do I think that some teams will at least be monitoring him in the spring league and seeing how he does? Absolutely.
I'm not just trying to, pull a fast one to try and get back in the NFL. I feel like I've genuinely got a right team around me and the right people around me and a wife that cares about me and loves me enough to save me from myself.
I hope he gets a chance for him, because I think the most difficult thing I would imagine to live with if you were that person is to think that you ruined your chances because you ruined them.
That was our Jeff Darlington reporting there. Certainly a lot of chapters to just a really young life still, Johnny Manziel. I want to start with you, Andrew. You played with Johnny Manziel for 2 seasons. Back in that 2015 season, there were a lot of quarterbacks on that roster.
Yeah.
Who was the best quarterback on that Cleveland Browns team?
Yeah, I think Johnny was the most talented quarterback. And Josh McCown would even tell you that Johnny possessed some of the abilities that were extremely special that not a lot of quarterbacks have. I mean, his feel for the game, some of the throws he would make. He was one of those talents that if he had the right makeup as far as how he went about being a professional at that time, right? And without some of the personal issues, whether that's his off-the-field concerns or his mental disability, I think he would have been a top-tier quarterback and a guy that we would still be talking about how great he is now. But without that, he's in the position he is now, and he's not a guy that's in the league.
Yeah, it's obviously no secret, especially here on this set, that Josh McCown as a person is one of the best in the league. But he has a job right now with the New York Jets. It's a $10 million deal for 1 year, and you look at the difference between him and Johnny. But from your eyes and from your experience of playing, you would say that Johnny Manziel was the better quarterback.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I'm telling you, Josh would say the same thing. And, Josh has been honestly incredible in this road back for Johnny because they are good friends. They talk frequently. And even when things were as bad as they could be, Josh was always a guy, as he was for a lot of guys, that Johnny could always call and depend on. Yeah. So it's not far-fetched to say that Josh would also say that Johnny Manziel has the makeup to be an NFL quarterback, and he is very, very talented.
One of the things I think that is important to point out, because I'm sure there's eye rolling whenever we talk about Johnny Manziel making the comeback. I see it on Twitter a lot, even in the wake of this piece. And there is a healthy amount of skepticism that is allowed. I mean, it should be. There should be. And NFL teams, by the way, also have that same feeling. So this is not like we're trying to say that Johnny Manziel is back, that he's going to be on an NFL roster soon. Right. He has a lot of work to do. And what teams that I've talked to want to see is sustained reliability and accountability. Right. Personally, I think that's ultimately going to mean he's going to have to go to the CFL to get there. This spring league, by the way, maybe you don't know it's a spring developmental league. It's like a 2-week program. It's an opportunity for him to show some teams that he maybe still has it physically, but mentally it's going to take longer to prove to NFL teams that he has it. That's why I think they're going to want to see him go prove it. But, hey, it only takes one.
Remember, it's a league that you have to pay to play, too, as well. This isn't just that he's going out there getting paid to do this. He's paying to play in the league.
Right. And he's had a chance. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, people look at this and they say, well, Johnny Manziel was on top of the world, and he had the privilege to play in the NFL. And he didn't take advantage of that privilege that he had. Now, listen, I think the best comment we talked about is McCown. The professionalism of Josh McCown on how he approached each and every day. If Johnny Manziel can prove that he's a professional, just a professional, that he'll get up in the morning, he'll do the right thing, he'll stay off the streets, he'll do whatever. At some point, someone's going to give him a chance because, like you said, the talent is there. And teams are based on acquiring as much talent as they possibly can. And it's the most forgiving league in the world. When you can play, they will forgive you.
I hope it's real, and I hope this is sustained.
And I think one way you got to look at this, and this is a guy who's played in the locker room with him, is, we looked at and we talk about him like he's fallen from grace. And from a football standpoint, that is true.
Yeah.
But in his personal life, he's as best as he's ever been. So it's a different way to look at it that, yes, he's not in the NFL, he's not a starting quarterback, but in his personal life and who he is as a person, he's on top of the world in that regard.
Yep. All right, still to come, guys, here on NFL Live. Giancarlo Stanton crushed his Yankee debut yesterday. 2 homers. Well, we're going to talk about the best NFL new team debuts.
Ready to play action fake. Back to throw. Has time. Airs it out. Downfield. Ran